Warning, this content may be disturbing to some audiences. Subscribe, if you dare. I still hold on that dark matter and dark energy are just a fudge factor because of an incomplete understanding of physics and mathematics. Hey everybody, welcome to ANECDOSED. People ask Reddit. What scientific fact do you think may eventually be proven false? Number 1. At one point in human history, everyone knew the Earth was flat, and everyone knew that it was the center of the universe. Obviously science has progressed a lot since then, but it stands to reason that there is at least something that we widely regard as fact that future generations or civilizations will laugh at us for believing. What do you think it might be? Rampant speculation is encouraged. Number 2. Commenter. Geologist here. We don't know nearly as much about plate tectonics as the layperson might think. Plate tectonics is, in a lot of ways, our unifying theory. A lot of the theories behind the mechanisms of plate tectonics, what drives the movement, how rifts and subduction zones form, how volcanoes form, etc., seem a little tenuous to me. I suspect that a lot of those will eventually be proven to be false. You know how people bring up the fact that 95% of our oceans are unexplored, and they represent 70% of the Earth's surface? Imagine how difficult it is for us to study what's going on in the 12,000 kilometers diameter below that surface. Person B. Yeah, I've seen some of those sorts on the internet and such. I guess it's not an entirely intuitive theory, and admittedly you have to start digging fairly deep into different disciplines within geology to discover why and how exactly it ties all of these previously unexplained phenomena together. I have no problem with a lack of understanding of it, but unless you've done that digging and then come up with a different interpretation that fits all of the empirical evidence, you should probably just accept what the geologists are saying on the matter instead of not believing in it because there's some other more intuitive theory out there that doesn't fit any of the data that you haven't bothered gaining an understanding of. Person C. I'm a geology student, and I ask my geophysics professor a lot of questions after class. The answer to roughly 90% of my questions is we don't really know. Person D. Geologist here too. I always think to myself, what if what I'm getting taught are complete bullshit? Geology, to an extent, cannot be tested. It's all based on theories. Person E. Geologist here to retort. There is no such stated force driving plate tectonics other than theories. However, to state that plate tectonics are ripe for being proven false is just uneducated. You sound like someone who took your first physics course and called Newton's laws into question because you don't understand them. I'm actually offended right now. Number 3. Commenter. That women are born with a set number of eggs. This has recently been proven untrue in mice, and may extend to humans. It's thought that the idea came from one or two studies from the 50s where they took pictures and counted. Since then it's just been repeated incessantly until everyone believed it. Most likely there are stem cells just like in men for the production of eggs. This would greatly change our ideas of reproduction and how we approach reproductive medicine. Person B. In my biology class last year, we were taught that women are born with a set number but that more are created throughout their life, so I think this may already have been disproved. Person C. That is interesting to know. I always heard of the set number of eggs explanation when I was learning about the prevalence of genetic disorders in children born to older mothers. As in, the increasing age of the egg would cause problems for the developing fetus when the eggs finally tapped for ovulation. I wonder what the new explanations for this higher prevalence for genetic disorders will be. Person D. This is what most people are taught. The new findings suggest this isn't true. That there are stem cells that may be producing new eggs throughout the lifetime. I was taught the 400 number as well. I think some are confused because they confuse creation with maturation. The eggs are stuck in one phase and mature ending with ovulation. At least this is my understanding. Number 4. Commenter. I still hold on that dark matter and dark energy are just a fudge factor because of an incomplete understanding of physics and mathematics. Of course for now that's our option, and evidence we have points to its existence, but I would be in no way surprised if at some point in the future somebody realizes that our model of the universe is just wrong and dark matter/energy is just the best we could do to make it fit our current model. Person B. There is definitely an argument here for dark energy, but dark matter is known a little more concretely. It's kind of a bad nomenclature, but we're stuck with it now. Dark matter is dark because it doesn't interact electromagnetically, no light, but dark energy is dark because we have no idea what it is. We can directly see evidence of the existence of dark matter, like the bullet cluster, i.e. there is something there, not just a math error in the theory. There are tons of ideas on what the particles might actually be, only interacting via the weak force, etc., and we are on our way of learning more. Person C. That's exactly what dark matter/energy is. It's a placeholder till we figure it all out. It's not a single element that we just can't see. In physics, dark equals we know something is going on, we just don't know what. Person D. That is what they are. Calling something dark matter or dark energy is just another way of saying, we don't know what the F it is. Person E. I think the concept of dark matter is pretty crazy. I'm not saying that I don't believe in it, but given the nature of its discovery, our equations don't work without it, and the lack of physical evidence, I would not be surprised if future scientists were to conclude that it doesn't exist, and that our generation was pretty silly. Number 5. Commenter. Almost all of psychology. Person B. The bottom line is, psychology is pretty new. Although we understand how many things occur, which at a basic level is, stimulus goes in, some form of processing occurs, then some sort of reactions occur, a physiological reaction happens, a memory is made, a habit is formed, etc. However, even with studies on brain damage, and where certain elements of cognition occur, we have barely scratched the surface on why the brain functions in its ways. As a psych student, what always blows me away is how predictable some behaviors can be, and how other behaviors are incredibly different to predict or understand. I'm excited to be part of the future of it all, that's for sure. Person C. Most of psychology now is still observation, and trying to come up with very broad reasons for these observations. Depending on which field you look at, theories are either changing constantly, or rarely. I don't see much of psychophysics being thrown out the window. Social psych, probably. Person D. Abnormal psychology, at the very least, will be completely revolutionized and transformed by advances in neuroscience. Right now the system for describing and naming mental disorders is a huge mess based upon competing subjective and arbitrary descriptions. Number 6. Commenter. String theory. I absolutely hate how Brian Greene and other scientists are playing it up as a theory of everything. I am a physics grad student, and it distresses me that many lay people seem to believe that string theory is just another fact. This is far from the truth. We have yet to find direct evidence of string theory's 11, or 26, or some other number of dimensions. Anyone who invests a little time into reading Smolin's excellent book The Problem with Physics will see that string theory is an ugly, unparsimonious theory that has no basis in experimentation/reality. It was given modifications after 1998 when we observed that the universe is expanding. These modifications only remind me of the ether hypothesis, the last failed attempt to hold on to non-Einsteinian physics. I am convinced that our universe follows some set of laws, but those laws are not string theory. Person B. String theory. While that is the best we can come up with at this time, it seems counterintuitive that there are several more dimensions that are curled up all around us that we never see or experience but are nevertheless present. Person C. I don't know if I'm buying string theory quite yet. I'm just a little suspect about the way it came about. Loosely speaking, from what I understand, they found patterns in mathematics first and then they tried building the theory off of that. Before you know it, there has to be 11 dimensions, last I checked, to make it all work, but then again it doesn't quite work. Number 7. I believe the gravity F equals gm1 m2 r2 will be proven to be a simplified version of a much more complex function dependent on variables we know or may have no clue how to measure yet. I think it holds true for objects in our local frame of space/time, but on the grand scale of the universe, I believe it doesn't tell the whole story. Number 8. Commenter. That the speed of light is the universe's speed limit. Obviously, nothing can physically move faster than the speed of light, but I do believe that we will one day be able to move from point A to point B in less time than it would take light to travel the distance. Person B. Then we can't travel faster than the speed of light. Einstein was smarter than the average bear, but he was working with what he knew at the time. They used to claim the sound barrier was the fastest we could go. Broke that. We will figure out how to travel faster than light someday. If we don't kill ourselves first, that is. Number 9. The fact that humans have intelligence that is superior to that of animals. We don't understand animal intelligence. It is about specialization for the life an animal leads, not brain size. Number 10. Commenter. The idea that the Big Bang was the beginning. I'm not alone in this, but I maintain that there is no beginning. Person B. I think it's intended to be the beginning of the known universe that we live in. That to me is different than saying it was the beginning of all reality. I agree there can be no beginning to something like that, because to me reality is infinite. Person C. the Big Bang could have happened and still not been the beginning. We can see that all of the mass of the universe is moving away from one point. Not in a way that you would imagine. By mass I mean everything including space and time. My favorite idea is that there are infinite other universes that exist and infinite possibilities in these universes. Person D. The Big Bang. The universe is too uniform to have started from an explosion. It seems to have rapidly expanded instead. Almost like an inflation. Number 11. I think that evolution will be reworked in many ways in the near future. I fully believe in, and study on a daily basis, evolution and speciation. However, I think our understanding of it is very limited and likely wrong. Natural selection is important, but already many other mechanisms have been proven to explain evolution. Number 12. Commenter. I have a feeling that what we know of gravity, which isn't much, will be disproved and replaced with something even more ridiculous. Person B. Gravity isn't very well understood yet anyway. We sure as F know it's there though. Number 13. I actually think the theory of relativity will eventually be debunked. I think it's going to be like Newtonian physics where we see it's perfectly accurate within the confines of modern science, but as newer and newer discoveries are made we see that its thoughts on certain aspects of life are wrong, and therefore the theory is in itself wrong, as a result of being incomplete. Number 14. Global warming. Not so much that it doesn't happen, just that it's not the crazy unnatural phenomenon it is being considered today. The Earth has been through incredible climate changes throughout history. I don't see there being much we can do to cause or prevent that continuing. Number 15. AI, artificial intelligence. Oh sure, we'll be able to create computer brains that can make binary decisions based on pre-programmed parameters at speeds so fast that they seem intelligent or seem to learn. Put a face on it, and it could seem eerily human. But the problem is, we really don't yet know how it is that we learn, and much of what we call human knowledge is too random and imperfect to program. Thing is, it's those imperfections that are part of our learning process. And don't even get me started on consciousness. Number 16. That birth control hormones are safe enough to take regularly. I know a large portion of people are already aware of the risks and dangers, but I think they'll make a more defined link between BC pills and breast cancer in the near future. Every doctor I have seen in the past 15 years has really glossed over any risk of blood clotting or cancer risk, saying oh that is just so rare you don't have to worry about it. The last gyno I saw was even trying to convince me to go on birth control after I told her it wasn't necessary. She was stating benefits like regular periods and clear skin, appealing to my vanity to peddle drugs. I recently spoke to an oncologist who was very serious when he told me that birth control pills cause breast cancer and heart disease, that he thinks studies showing the actual risks are being suppressed or avoided because the pills sell so well that nobody wants to bite the hand that feeds. Make sure to share your personal story in the comments below and have the opportunity to be featured in a future video. Also, if you like these topics, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to continue seeing more content like this every day. See you next time.